American Cinema Through the Modern Era: How the Big Screen Brings Literature to a Wider Audience, by Nahum and Mark. Adaptations of American literature and cinema. Books are often the best inspiration for adaptations in other forms of media, especially film. Whether done to perfection or an insult to the original work, cinema adaptations of books are highly anticipated, from classics like No Country for Old Men, The Joy Luck Club, and The Great Gatsby, to fantasy series that bring pop culture, like The Hunger Games. Books often contain some of the greatest feats of creativity of the human mind.
The effects of a cinema adaptation on the reach of a novel's message. Novels can always have a profound effect on culture. The biggest example of this is one that we're already all familiar with: The Lost Generation. Great Gatsby, Sun Also Rises, 1919, or The Grapes of Wrath are all examples of novels that encapsulated the era's disillusionment perfectly. These novels also reflected the larger modernist movement at the time, which was full of convention-breaking styles and unusual ways to tell stories. The heartbeat of America itself was present in these novels. They work as a mirror through which one can look back at a different time period. American novels like those have always caused conversation and debate, and movies only work to bring these discussions to a wider audience. Through film adaptations, excellent stories could be made even better, and important messages can be echoed to a larger number of people. The accessibility of movies make it even easier for books to have the impact that they do on American culture by simplifying the message, amplifying its outreach, or perhaps even bringing viewers to consider reading the source material after watching the movie. And here we have some examples of some novels that we thought were reached a wider audience after their movie adaptation.
What are you guys up to?
Our first book was The Help by Catherine Stockett. The Help was a book that documents the lives of African American maids working in white households in the 1950s Deep South. Through the dynamic between the white journalist who makes their voices heard and the black women who share their stories, a powerful message is conveyed. While the novel is excellent, the movie was able to bring a new life to the story and broadcast it to a wider audience that helped bring a greater awareness to the themes and societal issues that it touched on. With the prominence that this movie had, there came a larger conversation and discourse in America about the events that transpired in the book. Cinema represents an aspect of American culture that is very different from the literary world, and as more and more film adaptations are made, literature's most powerful messages can be brought to made a larger part of American popular culture, as seen with The Help.
So the second book we chose was adapted as the Godfather trilogy, and the book obviously had the same name. It's called The Godfather. The Godfather is perhaps the most well-known movie in Hollywood history, earning 9 Oscars and critical acclaim from critics. And obviously, if you talk to anybody that's into movies at all, they'll swear by this movie and they'll say that they love it. The movie is hailed as perhaps the best English film of all time. And it's based on Mario Puzo's novel. The movie helps bring the novel's phenomenal character development, enrapturing plotline, and beautiful setting to the big screen, reaching far more people than the novel could have ever done by itself. However, it wasn't just an adaptation of the text, it was more. Francis Ford Coppola's use of revolutionary directing techniques made the literary masterpiece a film masterpiece, which includes more than just faithfully translating the text over from one medium to another. The director's rendition of the story painted Italian immigrants as real human beings, not mobsters running around and committing crimes. The movie was a larger metaphor for the immigrant experience in America. Furthermore, the filmmaking itself was phenomenal. Use of shadows and innovative cinematography techniques, or the symbolisms portrayed on the screen by the director, and the excellent acting from the entire cast, make the movie unforgettable. The novel is great, but the movie is what helped bring the story to a wider audience. Thank you for listening to our presentation.